In this episode of All Ears News Roundup, Disney parks reopenings around the world, new live-action movies of Disney classics in the works, and the new safety protocols coming to Disney World. Don't go away! Hello everyone, Margot Jordan here, host of All Ears News Roundup, your go-to spot for what's hot and happening at Disney destinations across the globe. We've got a ton to cover today, so let's get cracking. What's that I see? A light! It's a light at the end of the tunnel! Get excited, people, because we have got reopening scheduled in the near future. First up, Disney Springs will begin to open starting May 20th. We will get our first look at what a new reopened Disney World looks like in just a few days when third-party, non-Disney owned restaurants and stores are given the okay to open in Disney Springs. Restaurants are expected to comply with social distancing guidelines like spreading out tables and reducing high-risk contact points. Wine Bar George, for instance, is moving to contactless menus and is encouraging contactless payments. All employees, as well as all guests, will be required to wear appropriate face masks. Disney Springs will also utilize temperature checks, contactless payments, and you may even spot plexiglass barriers at some registers. Disney-owned and operated locations, like World of Disney, are expected to open 7 days after those third-party businesses. City Walk, Universal Orlando's shopping and dining center, has also begun a phased opening. Our team was on site yesterday, and you can check out all of the latest updates at AllEars.net. Secondly, the first Disney park, Shanghai Disney, has officially reopened. The park opened its gates once again on May 11th, but with some restrictions in place. Social distancing measures, extra sanitation procedures, and other policies to protect guests and employees are now in place. Plus, the park is operating with a limited attendance capacity. Tickets are now for specific dates, and pass holders must make reservations in order to keep park capacity in line with safety guidelines. Theater shows, parades, and nighttime spectaculars are not currently in operation, so guests won't be getting the full experience. But hey, it's better than nothing, right? Close character meet and greets are also off the table for now, but the Disney characters will appear in each land to welcome guests back. They'll also travel in the Mickey and Friends Express Processional, just at a safe distance. Disney has stressed that cast members will be taking every precaution necessary to ensure the safety of guests, including running rides with lower capacity and implementing rigorous cleaning procedures. What about the Grand Poobah, Florida? The Florida Task Force has been working over the past few weeks to establish a plan for a partial reopening of the state. The Orange County Task Force has also been working on their own plan for the area. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis gave the order for the state to enter Phase 1 of the reopening on May 4th. If local governments allow it, retail locations can operate at 25% of indoor capacity. Restaurants may offer outdoor seating as long as there is 6 feet of space between tables, and indoor seating must be kept at 25% capacity. In addition, Florida's state parks began to open on May 4th. DeSantis has said that moving into Phase 2 will be data-driven and does not need to take months. The Florida Task Force has recommended that theme parks be allowed to reopen as part of Phase 2, but with capacity limited, strict social distancing, and proper measures to clean and disinfect. Theme parks would then begin to return to normal operation during Phase 3. Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings also held a press conference outlining plans for the county's reopening. He could not say when the theme parks would reopen, but he mentioned how they will likely reopen in phases, with some parts, like hotels and restaurants, opening gradually. Over on the West Coast, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced a 4-stage plan for reopening the state. California began in Stage 1 with stay-at-home orders, but has since moved into Phase 2. Businesses reopening in Stage 2 include retail with curbside pickup, along with associated manufacturing and supply chains in association with those retail locations. Offices, seated dining, and shopping malls will probably be included later in Stage 2. According to Newsom, Stage 3 is months away and will reopen higher-risk businesses like salons, gyms, and theaters. Stage 4 will be when large gathering spots and venues open back up. Newsom hasn't specifically mentioned what stage Disneyland could reopen in, but it could be assumed that the park may open with the other large venues in Stage 4, though under the right conditions, it could happen sooner. So how exactly is Disneyland proceeding? Currently, Disneyland is not accepting any new reservations until July 1st, but construction crews have returned to the park for essential work. They will be weather wrapping Avengers Campus and receiving steel deliveries for the construction of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway in Toontown. The construction crews will also be working on the Sanuk Sandal Store, as well as one of the 2 Starbucks locations in downtown Disney. Although there's good news of reopenings, there's also more cancellations. Disney World has also moved its new reservation window to July 1st. With no official opening date in sight just yet, both Disneyland and Disney World have begun canceling guest reservations made through the month of May and into the beginning of June. Disney will contact guests week by week to let them know their trips are officially affected by the park closures. Guests can then rebook or cancel their trip without incurring any change or refund fees. Wonder what Disney will do when the parks reopen? Well, we have some intel for you. Disney is apparently brainstorming a bunch of ideas for how to handle the reopenings of both Disneyland and Disney World. Disney Parks Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Pamela Heimel, recently wrote a letter to guests that indicates Disney is considering using virtual queues and parks apps to help with distancing. Heimel says that more than likely Disney will be limiting capacities in queues, restaurants, hotels, ride vehicles, and other facilities across the resort to help with this. She also mentions implementing new screening measures when entering the parks, including those related to personal protective equipment. Another option Heimel says Disney is looking at is a phased reopening. As an example, she lists the potential for retail and dining locations to open prior to the theme parks. This phased reopening seems to be a way Disney is moving forward, given the limited opening of Disney Springs starting on May 20th. During any such partial reopening, not everything will be exactly as it was before. The Disney World website has been updated with a new statement explaining that when the reopening does happen, theme parks, Disney Resort hotels, restaurants, attractions, experiences, and other offerings may be modified and will be limited in capacity. Over in Europe, Disneyland Paris has updated their cancellation policy and is now allowing guests with reservations into the month of July to receive refunds. Any bookings made through July 14th, 2020 can be canceled for a full refund or a voucher for the full amount to be used on a future reservation. The closure has also pushed back the opening of the new Disney's Hotel, New York, the Art of Marvel. The hotel was originally expected to open on June 15th. Guests who had made reservations between June 15th and October 31st, 2020 can also receive a refund or a voucher. Next up, Disney Cruise Line has canceled more planned sailings through the months of June and July. The cancellations affect all Disney cruise ships with sailings through July 27, 2020. Disney Cruise Line has updated their refund policy to reflect these new cancellations. We've also spotted 3 of the cruise ships docked at Port Canaveral. The Disney Dream, Disney Magic, and Disney Fantasy are all parked here and may be for some time. Bob Chapek recently stated that he believes Disney Cruise Line will be one of Disney's last travel-oriented businesses to return to normal operations. Jumping over to the other side of the world, Tokyo Disneyland remains closed, and its home country of Japan has been in a state of emergency since last month. The end date was supposed to come earlier this month, but Prime Minister Shinzo Abe announced that the government would be extending the state of emergency through May 31st. Tokyo Disneyland's closure will follow suit and give more information regarding reopening once the government gives them the okay to do so. This next bit of news had me roaring. Disney keeps rolling out their live-action remake train down the tracks. They have now announced that a remake of the 1997 animated feature Hercules is in the works. Disney has tapped Dave Callahan, the writer of Marvel's upcoming Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, as well as the Expendables franchise, to take on script writing duties. Joe and Anthony Russo, best known for their contributions to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as Community, will be producing the film through their Agbo banner, but are not directing. Just putting it out there, but I want Zac Efron to play Hercules and Ariana Grande to play Meg. Did you see her version of I Won't Say I'm in Love during the first Disney Family Sing-Along? Oh, it was so good. Also, just kind of throwing it into the universe, maybe I can get an audition for Meg? Hey, a girl can dream. In more Disney movie news, over the May 4th Star Wars holiday, it was announced that Taika Waititi will be directing and co-writing the next Star Wars feature film. Waititi is most known for his early work on What We Do in the Shadows, as well as recent big projects like Thor Ragnarok and The Mandalorian. He will be joined in the writer's room by Christy Wilson Cairns, who worked on the script for 1917 with Sam Mendes. Speaking of Star Wars, Robert Rodriguez has officially been confirmed as the director on Season 2 of The Mandalorian. The action helmer confirmed it via his official Twitter account with a picture next to Baby Yoda. We don't know exactly how many episodes Rodriguez has worked on, so we'll have to wait and see when the new season drops this October. Can't wait! That's a wrap here for our news roundup. Who do you think should play Hercules, Meg, Hades, and the rest of the gang in the new live-action remake? Tell us that in the comments below. I'm Margot Jordan, and I will be back soon. Thanks for tuning in, guys.